Welcome everyone, I'm Amy, I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and I'm an NPC Bikini Competitor. And this is my prep vlog. We are counting down the weeks, we're into the single-digit weeks here. Yikes! So in the intro, I'm going to talk about what the feedback from my coach was. If you missed my video from last week, definitely go check that out. I will try and link it here so you can find out what I sent for my check-in this week. It'll make what he has to say about my feedback make a little more sense. Also in this video, I am hoping that my IgG food test comes in. If it does, I will show you guys me doing that. If you're squeamish, skip through it because there will probably be some blood. That's how they do it. It's a blood test. So I'm assuming I will have to stab my finger pretty aggressively to fill up a little vial with some blood and send it off to them to get tested for whatever is maybe causing all of this horrible rash on my face. So after I sent my check-in, I actually got a text from Tommy asking if I had time to talk. And I was, of course, you always have that little bit of panic, like, oh gosh, my coach wants to talk to me. It's like being called into the principal's office, like, am I in trouble? But no, I don't feel that way with Tommy. So I said yes. And he called me, we did a video call, and I was horrified because when he video called me, I had washed my face and I had no makeup on, but he actually wanted to see the rash and how bad it looked because, as I stated, I am wearing a lot of cover up on it, so it doesn't seem like it's bad perhaps right now, but trust me, it is bad. So he was able to see it in all of its red, swollen, horrific glory. And we chatted a bit about the strawberries. We just chatted a bit in general about, kind of brainstorming other things that that it could be. He kind of feels the same way I do about the IgG test. I mean, again, we know what things are going to come up high, but on the off chance that there is something random out there, I think it's worth doing. So we'll do that this week. No changes to the plan. He did take out strawberries. He replaced them with raspberries, and he took out the bell peppers, replaced it with cauliflower, which I love. So I'm super excited about that, but no other changes. So I'm gonna swap out for raspberries. I'll run to the store this afternoon and grab those. And what I had done the 2 days before, or like the day before, so like the Friday and Saturday, I chicken on Saturdays. So I had actually switched out for blueberries just because that's what I had in my freezer. So I had been doing blueberries for 2 days, but now we'll switch over to the raspberries. I like raspberries. It's just a lot of seeds, but he likes them for the fiber. So, oh, and I got more chia seeds I get chia seeds in my last meal now too. So I get chia seeds twice a day. So my last 2 meals, I get 4 grams of chia seeds. So there were those little changes. Other than that, we just kind of chatted. It was really great because we were able to kind of just talk through like how the rest of prep is going to go. This is my first time prepping with Tommy, so getting to know a little bit more about how his protocols work toward the end of prep. He recommended I get Vaso Dry, which is a topical product, which I've always wanted to try. And that's why I told him, I'm like, I've heard such great things about it from competitors and I've always wanted to try it, but it's always sold out. And he said it's in stock now. So I actually ordered it today. So that's something that he just wanted me to have on hand for toward the end of the show or toward the end of prep. That I will probably start using that specifically, like probably on the back of my legs where I need a little additional help kind of tightening things up. Talking more just about kind of how he likes to do check-ins as we get closer to the show. And it was really nice. So it was just a great conversation. Aside from those subtle changes to the meal plan, no other changes. Cardio staying the same for now. Everything else is staying the same, like literally no other changes. So that was all really good. And it's so great. I know I've said this before, but like I've just been so impressed with Tommy as a coach. I've had not a ton of coaches, but enough coaches to know the difference between the good coaches. And unfortunately, I've had one bad coaching experience. The rest have all been positive, some better than others, but nothing that was really negative overall. And it's really great to have a coach that's so communicative. And the fact that he wanted to talk to me and like really and see me, that really was meaningful to me. So all good there. So that was my feedback from the week. So not a lot planned this week. I have my appointment with Dr. Dove on Tuesday. So really excited about that. I don't know whether I can really film it. It might not be that interesting to watch, but I'll definitely talk a lot about it. I'm really excited to get back on her schedule. She's been so busy with some of the really big national shows. So it was, I've waited quite a while to get in with her. The other thing I did order is a body gosha. So, like gosha for like the face is pretty common. Like it's basically just kind of a scraping kind of massage, but you can get these really big gosha that are made of wood to use on your body. So I'm super excited to get that. I'm gonna start doing that on my abdomen. Again, I've watched a lot of TikTok videos, but I'm also a massage therapist, so I understand how to use it. So got a lot of things now. I'm gonna get the big gosha. I've still got my pelvic floor therapy wand that I'm using, and just all the things. So hopefully it is making some improvement. I'm excited to see, what Dr. Dove has to say. I am definitely going to cancel, and I need to remember to do that. I need to cancel my pelvic floor therapy appointment because that's supposed to be the week after, and I'm definitely not going to go back. I've decided, like, I'm not going to go back. It was not a positive experience overall, so going to cancel that, and yeah, do my session with Dr. Dove, see what she has to say about my vacuums, get some more advanced vacuuming techniques going, and keep working on that instead. And I also need to schedule some posing. I don't have any scheduled with Tori, and I need to do that. So those are my goals for this week. And whatever else comes next, again, if I do get the IgG test and you don't want to see any blood, definitely skip that. There will be timestamps in the description box below. And I will see you all here in whatever comes next. Okay, so this is the IgG test that I am doing for, it covers allergies for food and also environmental and some other things as well. I got it from York. So it is from Yorktest blood collection kit. I have read the instructions briefly. I've washed my hands. I have a cup of something warm next to me that I just splashed all over the place because you should have really warm hands when you do this, because you're gonna have a hard time getting enough blood if your hands are freezing, which mine always are. So I've been warming up my hands. It says to do some rotations. Well, let's just read the instructions. Your test instructions. Let's get started. So it says, wash your hands. Step number 1, make sure your hands are really warm. Wash your hands with warm soapy water to make the sample collection easier. Soak your hands in warm water for 2 minutes. Dry your hands thoroughly with a clean towel. This is very important. Yes, you don't want to contaminate your sample with bacteria. This was after, I missed steps 1 and 2 over there. Activate your test. Swing your arms in circular motions and clench your fists. Relax your hands several times. Wash them. Then we're going to wipe the top of your finger with the alcohol-free cleansing wipe provided, ideally with the 4th ring finger of your left hand. Okay. To activate the single-use lancet, press down. Yes, I know how to use a lancet. Stand up, hold your hand below your waist, and slowly massage your finger towards the pin. Do not squeeze the tip of your finger. Use the second single-use lancet to repeat the prick, if I need to. Hold the absorbent wand by the plastic cover and rest against the blood to allow it to absorb. It is important to make sure the wand is fully saturated, as this contains the precise amount of blood if you need to do a second lancet. And then you place the saturated wand into the container and secure the lid. Apply the plaster to your finger. I don't think I'll need to do that, maybe. Write your date of birth, sex, and time and date of sample on the container. Safely discard the lancets, put it in the box, and mail it back the same day. Okay, there we go. So here's our little kit. This is going to be the tube that we put the, how do I hold that? Hold it by, remove those over wand. Yes, yes. Hold the absorbent wand by the plastic cover. Okay. Okay. Oh, perfect. So I hold it by this end. Okay. Put that right there. Again, if you are squeamish about blood, you definitely don't want to watch this. It gave me 2 Band-Aids. Oh, I guess if you have to prick both fingers. Hopefully I won't need to do that. Hopefully I will bleed enough the first time. Hold my warm cup for a moment over here. Swing my arms around, shake, 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 circle, circle, circle. Think bloody thoughts. All right. Let's do this. Clean my finger. These lancets are huge. Like they have like a really, it's not like doing a blood stick for a like glucose test in the morning. It is far more, it's like a spade. All right. Keep doing it till it's full. I tend to be a pretty good bleeder, but I'm also a good clotter. I want to make sure I get it really well saturated. Oh, I might have to use another one because you got to get it all the way through to the other side. I'm gonna come over here. Need more light. Getting close. Almost through to the other side. Oh, there we go. Got a good one. You can see I'm starting to come through to the other side. Almost. I think I'm going to make it with just one finger. Good. All right, I am seeing blood on the other side of the stick, but I'm going to keep going just to make sure I get a lot on there. As long as I'm still bleeding, let's might as well get a little more on there. Oh yeah. So you can see, oh, it's hard to see because I turned the light on so that I could see. Let's put it against something white, but either way, you can see that there is, there we go. Now blood on both sides of it. So I went all the way through this guy. I think I'm done bleeding. Yep. So I'm gonna put this in the tube. Cap it off. Write my name and date of birth and the collection date and time on here. Put it in this envelope and send it in. So it was that simple. So we shall see, if I'm interested to see about strawberries. I mean, I haven't been eating them now for almost 2 weeks. It's been a week and a half. So by the time, hopefully if I do come up hot on strawberries, I'll know that that potentially is real. So there we go. If you guys are interested, and I am not sponsored, I did not get any discounts on this test, but I'll put the link in the description box below to Yorktest. It was a good price and they test for a lot of things. Like I said, it's not just food. They test for some environmental allergies and some other stuff as well. So I will get this all packaged up and get it sent back, and I'm excited to get the results. We're back and a plane is about to fly over. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's passing. It's passing. It's past-ish. Well, it is the end of the week, and it is time to talk about my check-in for the week. But before that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know enjoyed is a weird word to use when you were watching me stab myself and leak blood onto a little pipette for a few minutes. But I did send in my food allergy test and just allergy test this week. You can track it online, and it's been 5 days and it still hasn't been received by the lab, which I find really surprising. So I don't know when I'm going to get the results, because once they get it, they say that you get results within 7 days of when it's received. But this could mean that I don't know the results for at least another full week. Is kind of, I mean, they haven't even received it yet. So who knows? So no news on that front, but I did send the test in and it was really easy to do. Like I said, I am not sponsored. This was just a company I happened to find, but if you guys are interested in doing it yourself, there is a link in the description box below. And I can't really speak to any part of it except for what you saw, which was that it was easy. The kit came really quickly. I got it within a few days. Yeah, it was less than a week from when I ordered it. And I think I ordered it on the weekend. So, you know, I got it within a few days, and then I actually waited until Monday to do the test, because I didn't want to do it. They say mail it the same day, and I didn't want to do it like over the weekend and have it maybe sit longer. So my plan didn't work. I was hoping if I did it on a weekday, they'd get it more quickly, but apparently that did not happen. So your mileage may vary there. But let's talk about what I sent for my coach for check-in for the week. Before we do that, you can see my pictures here, and what I sent to Tommy. So pictures are always the first thing, but you guys have seen those. And then weight. My weight this week was down about 1.5 pounds from last week, which is great. That's a nice steady loss, which I love to see. Blood pressure is unchanged, right around 110/70. My average fasted blood glucose this week was 75. I actually had one day that was I had a couple days that were pretty low, but feeling good. I'm not feeling like I'm hypo, so that's within the normal range. Adherence to diet and training, 100% yes and yes. My supplements have not changed, with the exception of I did add in the homeopathic tablets I got 2 different ones. I got one for like itchy rash, and then another one that just was supposed to be good for like inflammatory skin conditions. So I've been using those. And I also ordered some traditional Chinese herbs that will be here next week. So I'm going to implement those as well. Rash is getting better. The inflammation is getting better. I feel like this week was the first time that I felt like sort of okay about how things looked. I still have been using a lot of hydrocortisone on the daily, and also just, it's not perfect yet, but it's getting a lot better, which has been good. So again, I'm really interested to see if that allergy test does show anything, or if there was any connection there to the strawberries. Who knows? But either way, it is starting to get better. And perhaps the homeopathic medication is helping as well. Hard to say. Other than that, no changes to my supplements. Current training is still my 5-day push-pull legs. That's all going well. And actually, I do have workout footage that I will put in next week's video. So I did get some updated workout footage. My workouts haven't changed, so that's why I haven't, really prioritized recording workouts. And I've mentioned before that I break a lot of screen protectors on prep, which I've already broken this one on my new phone. I need to switch it out. I broke it somehow this week. And I've also broken 3 tripods. And then this week I didn't break the tripod, but I almost broke myself. I was closing it, and I had my thumb caught in it, and I scraped a whole bunch of skin off my thumb. So I don't know what it is with me and tripods on this prep, but I have broken 3. Ironically enough, the one that I have now that I've replaced the other broken ones with, I don't actually like, which means I'll probably never break it, which is maybe a good thing. I just, injured myself with it instead. I don't know where I was going with that. Workout footage. My workouts haven't changed, but either way, I do have workout footage for next week's video. So there is that coming. Have not had a deload week. My last blood work was submitted at the beginning of August. Have not done a refeed meal. My sleep this week, I gave myself 3 out of 5 stars, not because my sleep quality was bad, but I still am just not getting enough sleep. With the NFL season starting, I've been up a little too late several nights watching football, so that's on me. Gym performance was a 5 out of 5, had really good workouts this week, and I gave energy a 4. Energy was good. Appetite this week, I put as a 4. Again, I was a little bit tempted to put it as a 5, but just did a 4. I am hungry. Oh, I should have brought my little cover thing. The wind is picking up. Sleep score this week from my Oura Ring was an 84. My resting heart rate average was 57, which is up slightly, but again, I've mentioned this, I think probably in last week's video. This has been a theme of this prep, that I'm not getting enough sleep, but when I don't get a long enough duration of sleep, my heart rate is slightly more elevated throughout the night. Current water intake is unchanged at 1.5 gallons. My current favorite food choice is on my Saturday, Sunday meal plan. I get cereal for my first meal, which I love. And then of course, almond butter being my other favorite food always. Current daily step count is 16,000, that's unchanged. And my cardio right now is the same as well, 7 days a week, 25 minutes steady state, and then 10 minutes of HIIT, which I am still doing on the spin bike, doing it all fasted pre-workout. Digestion this week, I gave myself a 3. Still feeling like things are just not 100%, but they're getting better, so that's good. Oh, I'm gonna talk about my session with Dr. Dove. I'm gonna remind myself, I was gonna say don't let me forget, but you guys can't remind me, so I'm gonna try and remind myself. Current mental state, I gave myself a 4. And then all questions and comments below. I'll talk about my session with Dr. Dove in my comments to Tommy. So you guys are going to hear this. Said, good morning, Tommy. Not a lot to report this week. I had a really good session with Dr. Dove. I came to the realization that I have been focused so much on decreasing my rib flare, which I have. I mean, for the last 2 seasons, I've been like so obsessed with decreasing my rib flare. And every time I would pull my ribs in, I was actually pushing down and out on my lower abdomen and pelvic floor. I've been doing this pretty consistently for over a year. Now I am working so hard to retrain my brain to pull my pelvic floor up instead of trying to force my abdomen in and allowing my ribs to have a little bit more flare and flexibility. I've seen some improvements in the lower abdomen, especially first thing in the morning. I also added in Gosha massage that seems to be helping as well. My giant Gosha, I love it. It did come in. So that's really, you know, the kind of the like epiphany moment I had. It was the same day after our session. Dr. Dove, I'll insert some pictures that she sent me, and it was something that she said, and I'll try to pull it up so I can remember what it was that she said, that I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what I've been doing all this time. Like in that moment I was standing, like I have a standing desk, so I stand a lot, and like I would push my ribs in. I was like forcing my abdomen kind of down and out. So I feel like some of this distension was definitely some self-induced, you know, at least neuromuscular wise. And that's what I'm trying to really work hard to retrain. And that's the pelvic floor therapy, you know, that was kind of the goal there, but that I did cancel that session. And I've actually found Annie, I will put her link again in the description box, because her channel, Annie's Pilates, I mean, her videos are so good. And she does a lot of things with your hips elevated on a foam roll. And that what I've learned from Dr. Dove is that takes the pressure off of the pelvic floor. So it's a lot. And like, I feel like it's frustrating a lot of times during the day, because I do find myself doing it and have to remind myself, you know, to pull that pelvic floor up and not worry so much about like having a little bit of rib flare, because having a little bit of rib flare is way less bad than having a very distended abdomen on stage. So the rib flare, I kind of need to allow myself to actually like let that happen a bit, because it is part of the reason why my pelvic, or why my lower abdomen distension is so bad, is because of what I was doing to try and completely eliminate the rib flare. So working on that. I said workouts are good, hunger is definitely there but manageable, meals are all great. So the rash is getting a little better. It was still pretty angry for the first part of the week, but in the last 2 days it does seem like it's coming down a little. It is extremely red but not as swollen. I have added in homeopathic treatments, and as of this morning also started traditional Chinese medicine herbs, starting those like this week because they just came in. Still using the topical hydrocortisone and taking tons of OTC allergy medication daily, and I actually have stopped. So I have since stopped taking the oral allergy medication, because I really want to make sure that I'm giving the traditional Chinese medicine herbs and the homeopathics a chance to work. So I feel like my legs look absolutely massive in my pictures today. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, but they look absolutely huge. So I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. So that is what I sent. I gave you guys, let me pull up the chat with Dr. Dove and see if I can remember what it was that she said that kind of cued me, or just kind of give you an idea of what she gave as feedback. It's hard to record those sessions. I was going to try, but like there's not a lot to see, and everything, you know, I have my headset in to listen to her because I have the camera a little far away. So it would be not very interesting. It's just watching me breathe, essentially, is what it is. So she sent me a bunch of pictures. Yeah, so she said, this is your pre and post LPF pictures. Keep in mind, in the pre, I was already cueing you to stay tall and grow through your spine. Usually you are even more protruded, but you can see the improvements after LPF. Ideally, you're maintaining this as much of the day as possible. That way it just becomes second nature over the next few weeks and slowly will improve. And that's what I've been trying to remind myself. You know, I want instant results. We all do with everything. I'm like, look, I've been doing this other pattern for a long time. So like that, it's just going to take reminding myself. And the more I remind myself, the more I do it, just like anything else, it's going to then become second nature. She says, it is also possible that when you stand and try to pull in your belly button, you are creating pressure on your pelvic floor instead of pulling your belly button in. Think of lifting your pelvic floor as much as you can throughout the day. And that's what it was. That's what she said, that I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like I have been, when I think I'm pulling in, I was really pushing down and allowing my lower abdomen to distend. So, and then she just sent me the pictures, which were very helpful. And it was a really good session. I appreciate her so much. It's so challenging down her schedule. Like she is so busy. I mean, even the day that I did that, like I went on to see when her next available appointment was, and it's mid-October. So she books out well over a month in advance. And she did say that she could kind of help, you know, fit me into her schedule where there were little gaps, because definitely as the show gets closer, you know, I would like to do a little bit more intense, you know, kind of training with her. But she is just incredible. I highly recommend it. And she works with men as well. So I've seen some of the results that she has with her male bodybuilders. So anyone who needs lower abdomen control, like this is not what she does is not pelvic floor therapy. So this is for men and women, all competitors, like really transformative. Like I've been, even with just 2 sessions, just blown away with how much I've learned and how much she's able to just cue me and help me. It's been really, really transformative. So even as I sit here reminding myself to pull my pelvic floor up, which again it's just getting in that habit. So that was my check-in for the week. It was a good week. Like I said, not a whole lot. This is just one of those kind of normal prep weeks, which was great. Next week, I don't have a lot going on. Like I said, I will insert some workout footage in my next week video. Oh, and also Scott asked me a great question that I do want to address. So in my last video, I had a great comment from my good friend Scott. I'm going to pull it up so I can read it and make sure that I cover it, because it was such a good question. And I love it when you guys ask me questions. So if you do have any questions or anything you want me to address about prep, leave those in the comments section below and I will talk about it. So he said, don't start playing the video. Show me the comments. What did I do here? I clicked on something that is not my video. Okay, there we go. Okay. Pause. So Scott said, what are some of the differences between this prep and last prep in terms of both your mentality, how you're feeling about it, and the approach with Tommy? So I think, again, thank you, Scott, so much for asking that question. I think the biggest difference with my coach themselves. So Tommy does a meal plan, and I'd say that is the biggest difference. All my prior preps, I'd always been on macros, which worked well, but and it took a little while kind of for that mental shift, like to get used to a meal plan. But now that I am, I feel like I like it better right now. So like definitely like it better. I have resisted the urge to like try and like macro track my meal plan just to see where I'm at, because, you know, I just kind of wonder, you know, kind of knowing what I was doing macro wise for previous preps, like, well, where are my macros now? And like, yes, I can kind of like know, because I have macro tracked for so long, like I can do the quick math in my head, but I've tried really hard to just like let that go. Like I'm not tracking that, my coach is tracking that, and just let that be what it is. And I've found a lot of kind of peace with that. And especially the last couple of weeks, not having to change my meal plan up for like several weeks in a row has just been awesome. Like I've really started to like it. It was really stressful before. So I would have said several weeks ago when my meal plan was changing like every single week, I was finding it like more stressful and like really mentally taxing to have that happen, like more so than macro tracking. Whereas now that it's been the same for several weeks, it's the opposite. It's been so much easier. I like it a lot. So that is the biggest change with my coach themselves. Oh, the other thing too. So I feel like Tommy is a lot more connected to the quality of my workouts, like the quality and intention behind my workouts versus my previous coach. So that is different as well. And I think part of that is because Tommy is more actively bodybuilding at the moment, whereas my previous coach, Joe, was an amazing natural bodybuilder, but he hasn't competed in like 20 years. So I think it just different life stages perhaps. So that emphasis is just slightly different each way. Tommy's also great with being extremely fast and responsive, which I really like. I try not to like abuse that privilege to be able to, shoot my coach a text. I'm I try to be very respectful of their time and stick to my check-ins unless something is extremely urgent or pressing. I check in when I'm supposed to, but it is nice to know that if something comes up, he would respond really quickly. Whereas my previous coach, Joe, communicated through an app only. And if I didn't have internet service or the app was moving slowly, I wouldn't always get notifications. Like the app was really glitchy, and that was really frustrating, especially on show day. Not to feel like I had a good line of communication with my coach was really challenging. And I don't feel like that will be the case with Tommy. The brief time that I was with Aaron for a show this year, there were also a lot of communication challenges there, mostly because he was on my show day, he was with a good friend of his at a different show, and just, it really felt like he never had the time for me. So that was frustrating. Whereas with with Joe, he always had the time. It was just like the app was glitchy. So those are big things. So the ability to communicate so easily and readily with Tommy has been so nice. And I really appreciate that, especially with our phone call last week after my check-in. I just above and beyond with the care for me as an athlete as well. And I think that's where the workout quality and stuff comes in. Like he really cares about my development as an athlete and as a human. And it's really amazing. Mentality on this prep has been much different because this prep started from a much different place. I started off this prep so much higher in body fat than I've ever started a prep before. So that was challenging. And then also dealing with this rash for like over it feels like about a month now has been really mentally taxing. Like really, I talked a lot about it in my video last week, and I don't want to belabor it too much, but definitely something that has mentally been a lot. And then also just dealing with all of this lower abdomen distension, and it made me feel really broken and made me really doubt whether or not I should even compete. If I can't get this lower abdomen under control, is it even worth it? And just all those, like, they aren't even like, not even so much like self-doubt, but just like doubt in general. So those things mentally have been challenging on this prep, but I am seeing light at the end of both of those tunnels. And I feel like I have found an amazing supportive, network, having Dr. Dove with the LPF therapy, and my coach is incredible and very supportive and very much, working with me on all of these things, cares about the fact that I have this terrible rash. And, I have a lot of support on that side of things, but definitely it has distracted me, I feel like, from feeling as much like I'm in prep, because it feels like I'm just having to climb over all these battles and then having my weight not only not move, but be going up at the beginning of prep. There was a lot that just kind of really mentally was hard, and gave me a lot of reasons to doubt myself and doubt my process, and not my coaching. Like literally when I say that, like doubt myself or like my own ability. So it has been good to finally have some movement on the scale, to see some changes in body composition. And I'm not trying to focus on the scale number, but ultimately, you do need to be in a certain type of conditioning, and I'm not at that level of conditioning. So I've always come into shows or every prep season, has it been almost every prep season that there's been a show that like I'm planning for, but then I'm like, oh, well, there's this show X weeks earlier. Do you think I'd be ready? And it's always like, yeah, absolutely. Whereas this year, that would absolutely not be the case. So that is different as well. And I've had to kind of let that go also, that, that's fine. Like that was those preps. Like, yeah, great. I was ready and I could jump into a show with like telling my coach like 2 weeks before, and then doing a show 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, that was all fine. And this prep, that's not going to be the case, so that's all right as well. So it was a long way to answer that. Both of them are very different, but all good ultimately. And I'm just really trying hard to be patient with the process and not let my frustrations ruin my prep. So that is where I'm at right now. mentally and with my coaching situation, which is awesome. I mean, like I've said a number of times, like Tommy has just blown me away with his level of coaching. Like it is leveled up so many levels, and I know that continuing to be with Tommy as I progress as a bodybuilder is going to make me a much better bodybuilder and competitor for sure. So, you know, this prep is rapidly coming to an end. We're in the single-digit weeks. It's coming to a close here pretty soon. And then, you know, excited to get into a building phase. I feel like that's maybe a lot of the difference too with coaching, is that I feel like Tommy has a great plan for growth, which is a lot different than my previous coaches. So that is really exciting as well. But all right, I think that's all for this outro. Next week, like I said, there will be workout footage. If you guys do have any questions or anything you'd like me to address about prep or anything at all, leave those in the comment section below. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Please, 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 wherever you are, spread positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you. It is a beautiful day here in Denver. I'm out here without long sleeve shirt on, but it is cloudy. So I think that the weather may be changing this afternoon. So hope all of you do very well until I see you next time. I'll see you all here next time.